Just Like Me, Only Better, and it just hit the stands how long ago?
This came out April 6th.
Okay.
It tells the story of Veronica Zblicky, a single suburban mother who's having a really tough time, and she bears a striking resemblance to an imploding young Hollywood starlet named Haley Rush. And Haley's manager spots Veronica in a restaurant in LA at the Ivy. He hires her to be a celebrity double for Haley Rush. So Veronica ends up living a kind of double life, where on the one hand she's living in a quiet suburb, which happens to be Fullerton, where we are now. And so she's living half-time there and working in LA, pretending to be someone she's not, with a very glamorous life. So a lot of kind of inside scoop on Hollywood, fun read.
I just tell you again, I could not put the book down, and I am not kidding. This is my favorite book in the whole wide world, and I'm not.
Roadkill gets a couple little cameos.
And not only that, but you wrote it, and I love everything you did. You're just brilliant, and it really is a fun, easy read, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you all for coming to help celebrate my latest book, Just Like Me, Only Better. And thank you to Julie Rasmussen and the whole Roadkill staff, for Heidi Fleshman for putting it together, for putting together this great party, because this is just, it's very special. The chapter I am about to read is where Haley has met this guy. His name is Jay Sharpie. They've made an appointment for lunch at, they're at the Red Robin in La Habra. My LA Fitness. The research I did have, I took my family to the Red Robin in La Habra, and the kids actually complained. They're like, we don't want to go Red Robin. And so here it is that she doesn't know what's going on. This guy has said to her, until I walked into the La Habra Red Robin, that I realized my mistake. Jay wanted me to look like Haley Rush, and at the Ivy I had. Today, though, whatever they were, no problem. I put my 9-West purse on the bench opposite him and stood next to it. My purse was 3 years old, but it looked like it had only been around for 2.5. And thanks for choosing such a charming spot for lunch, he said. On the wall behind, a waitress in a red polo shirt came bounding over. Welcome to Red Robin, I'm Allison. When I ordered my iced tea, she looked at me a little too long and finally said, are you? No, I said. Sorry. All that already. What in the world is this about? He already had the real Haley Rush. What use could he possibly have for me? If only my computer were working, I would have Googled Jay Sharpie. But it had frozen up 3 months earlier, and I couldn't afford the Geek Squad. When I was married, I was a wrap. Jay asked whether the fish in the fish and chips was fresh or frozen. The reply, neither. It's cooked. How long have you lived in, what was the name of your town again? Fullerton. It's the next town over from here, but this was closer to the highway. Why do you want to know? He smiled in his brown eyes. Why do you sound so surprised? I shrugged. I thought that in Hollywood, if you looked 30, you were actually 55. He rolled his eyes. In LA, the paparazzi are everywhere. Except it's not just the paparazzi anymore. Any guy with a camera phone can take a snapshot and sell it to the tabloids for one of those stars are just like us spreads. Our star. He shook his head and tapped his finger on the legal document. I won't do nude scenes, I blurted. His eyes bugged out. What? Isn't that what you want me for? Because Haley's too big a star to take off her clothes? I don't want you to be in her movies. He folded his arms. Then we sue you for everything you're worth. Seize all your assets. Which sounds bad, I know, but it's really standard for anyone who works with the stars. The nannies, the assistants, the hair and makeup people. It's to prevent them from selling their stories to the press. As long as you keep your nose clean as lips. But the point is, Haley needs downtime. Who doesn't? Sometimes it would work better for her, better for everyone, if someone else smiled for the cameras and signed the autographs. I tried to imagine myself smiling and signing. This was surreal. He motioned to my food. $100 an hour to go shopping? I could get my computer fixed and buy Ben a bike. Maybe I could even save up enough money to move out of Deborah Mott's backyard. So what do you say, he asked. I nodded, too overwhelmed to speak. He pulled out his BlackBerry. Let's set a time for you to meet Haley. Tomorrow's Friday. How does 2 o'clock sound? Whenever he's in school, you cannot tell anyone about this job, he said. Anyone. What am I supposed to tell people? He poked at his salad. Whatever you want. What is it you do again? I'm a substitute teacher. He glared at 11 o'clock. He pushed a few more buttons and then slid the gizmo into his pocket. I'll have Kelly's assistant call you with directions. I don't know. When I create my characters, I never think of one person and make them into something for a couple reasons. For one thing, I mean, a celebrity, I suppose you could. If it's anyone I know, I never do. Partly because I could get into really big trouble. Yeah. But also, it's very limiting creatively because then you're stuck with what that person would do, and if you want them to do something else, you say so. But it's very much anything that involves. It's not inconceivable, but for something that involves a sequel or a series, it usually makes sense to conceive of it as a whole to begin with, so that you've got here's your big story, and then you have the pieces of your big story that fit together. And if you have a story and you finished your story, and then you go, but I want to do this with those characters, it's hard to get that energy back.
I could do more.
It never has, but I think it would be a great movie.
Absolutely.
Where's that camera? I encourage all producers out there to consider this for the screen.
How much of the day do you spend?
So on days like that, it's hard to actually write for more than a few hours. I mean, I'll stay home and I'll typically have a set page limit. Like I can't leave the house until I've written 4 pages or something like that. And so, I stay home in my sweats, very like a little hairnet, and then finally I get through. But I, go out to get the kids, and that's kind of it. But I have far more ideas that I think about and pursue for a while. That either maybe I write 5-10 pages and send it to my agent, and she goes, no, this has been done, or this isn't gonna, or I just try it and realize it's not gonna work. So I'm really always kind of looking for ideas, and sometimes they just kind of kick in. There've been a couple times when I've had an idea and it's just sort of sparked, and I have all the plot basics, and most of the time it's a much more gradual process. A lot of seems like it should be. I think there's this mystique about creativity where it seems like it should be this whole thing where you're in this this sort of magical state, and the fairies come and whisper things in your ears, and it's just, but it's you produce it, and it's just a lot of it's piece by piece by piece. It doesn't come out a lot.
Awesome.
I'm really intelligent right now.
Yes. Is she signing your book?
My book.
Awesome. What's your name?
Bethany Collins.
Oh,
Excited.
that's amazing. That's going to be worth $1 million someday. Hi, Darlene. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
She's so busy.